thinks we're goily, huh?
This brings up some new, interesting possibilities. There are two things that I want to say before I start this infamous animation. Number one is that Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends was a great show from beginning to end, with a few hiccups here and there. This is one of those hiccups. Good shows can have bad episodes. Ghostbusters and the Showstoppers would be on here if I didn't already tackle them in my MLP episode reviews. The second thing I want you to know is that Lauren Faust is someone I respect immensely as a writer, as a creator, and a person, and I could not be more thankful of what she's created. I'm saying this because the first thing that you'll notice about this episode is the writer. Yeah, Lauren Faust wrote the most infamous episode of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. I'm not trolling you or pulling some weird editing voodoo. You can go right to her IMDb or Wikipedia if you don't believe me. It's not like this is the only episode she wrote, and most of them were pretty good. But we've all got at least one dud in us. I just didn't realize that she wrote the dud. Yeah, it came as just as much a surprise to me as it probably did to you. That being said, I'm not going to hold any punches towards the episode itself, since yes, I do believe it is the worst episode of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. So, the episode begins with some enraged parents dropping off an imaginary friend. This is the titular Bendy. Apparently, he's been blamed for a bunch of broken rules. Of course, Frankie and Harriman believe that their child has been framing Bendy, and he does look pretty guilty about it. And the parents have not witnessed Bendy doing any of these things. When Frankie and Mr. Harriman accuse their child, the parents storm away, and Bendy looks distraught. Okay, the setup is actually pretty decent. Then again, this is still a very cliched premise. We cut into Blue, Coco, Wilt, and Eduardo playing video games. Then randomly Bendy comes in, and for no reason knocks a pot off the television. Well, that escalated quickly. That's the first problem with this episode. The pacing is horrible. Here it goes too fast, and in the middle of the episode it goes way too slow. We'll see that come into fruition as we go along. There is also plenty of ambiguity of Bendy's innocence, that this scene flushed right down the toilet. But that's not the only thing that's wrong with this scene. Mr. Harriman and Frankie come in and want to know how the vase broke. Blue blames it on Bendy, someone he had no vendetta against. Now Blue can be a douche sometimes, but he would never blame a random person for no real reason. Bendy comes in and Wilt testifies to Blue's story. However, when Bendy cries, they believe him. Hold it! They believe someone they barely know over Wilt, whose entire personality is essentially being as nice as possible, and has never told a lie in the past.
Blaming this poor innocent, just after he was falsely accused by his own family and abandoned forthwith.
I would think that might give the parents' story some more credence, rather than less. Yes, the parents clearly had a bias against Bendy, but these four did not. Why would Blue blame someone he didn't know? And I don't care how sad his sob story is, it's 4 against 1. And that's probably why people hate this episode, besides the forced plot. It's just Bendy's cruel grin. It's the kind of grin you just want to sock a few times. So we have a bunch of shenanigans where Bendy tries to get all 4 of them framed. And each time it's that stupid grin. The worst part is that for most of them, Bendy seems to be going after them for no real reason. It's like a scene or two is cut. Actually, that might be a possibility. This episode has a very odd runtime, clocking in at 13 minutes. It's like it was originally a 22-minute episode that they tried to hack down into an 11-minute episode. Also, some of these scenes get really frustrating. Don't take the marker! Don't take the marker! Don't take the marker!
Oh, for goodness sake, Master Blue, who would be so stupid as to write his own name on the wall?
That's a very good question. Blue ain't the brightest kid around, but he'd probably never do something that stupid. So all 4 of them get sent to the corner, ranting about Bendy, until Blue comes up with the idea to frame Bendy. They lay down a bat near a giant window, and when Bendy comes in, he gets that god-awful grin on his face. The 4 of them get ready to take a photo, but Bendy breaks the glass and runs too quickly. Don't pick up the bat! Don't pick up the bat! Don't pick up the bat! And he picks up the bat. And Coco takes pictures of him with the bat, which gets all 4 of them for some reason sent back to the corner. That scene had no purpose. It could have been cut out of the episode altogether. Bendy starts talking on the intercom, insulting Frankie and Mr. Harriman. Don't do it! Stay put! Stay put! And you go for it. He runs to the house and takes the intercom from Bendy. Then he calls Mr. Harriman and Frankie to the foyer, where the intercom is. And by the time they get there, Bendy is gone. Apparently, he's been cleaning the toilet with his own toothbrush. That doesn't make any sense. If you want to clean the toilet for her, fine, but a toilet brush is much more effective. This all ends with Blue getting grounded. and it turns out that it was Blue's toothbrush. Okay, that's just cruel. Speaking of which, why is Bendy being so cruel to people or imaginary friends that he's never met before? This all gives Blue a genius idea to give Bendy a taste of his own medicine. Again, sometime later, Bendy walks by a cookie jar and takes a cookie. A rigged camera takes his photo. Bendy climbs up and takes it, only to find that it's glued to his hands. He tries to draw on the photo with pen, but the ink explodes in his face. He runs to the bathroom in desperation to try to wash everything off, and the handle of the sink falls off. The bathroom begins flooding, so Bendy plugs it with towels. This eventually leads to the sink exploding. The door opens and it looks like Bendy was finally caught in the act. Guys, why didn't you end it here? If you ended it right here, everything wrong with this episode would have been excusable. Just have a shot of Bendy being driven away. That would have made everything prior in this episode okay. But no. Blue comes in and admits that he's the one who set up Bendy, getting in trouble for flooding the house. And the episode ends with Matt coming home, wondering what Blue did. Yeah, you know that an episode is bad when not even the writer likes the episode. Yeah, this is an episode that Lauren Faust herself regretted writing, and I could see why. This thing is just a mess. The plot is forced and the ending is just miserable. Like I said, even good shows can have bad episodes, and even good writers can write them. And yes, Lauren Faust is definitely a good writer, and a great creator overall. Join us next time when I bring you proof that Lauren has done more good than bad. Oh yeah, people, we're going there.